Republicans on Capitol Hill this morning are moving forward with tax reform. The House Ways and Means Committee enters a final day of markup today, hammering out the details of the House bill. This just as the Senate Republicans are going to be revealing their own tax bill later today. According to our sources, that tax plan will include this: the removal of the so-called bubble tax, which was 45.6% in the House plan. They are going to eliminate the state and local tax deduction entirely. Now, of course, that has been up for debate in the House plan. And they're going to delay that 20% corporate tax rate for 1 year. Most of the CEOs we've spoken with feel that this is a fine plan, that 1 year is not as onerous as what we had been talking about. And there is also talk that they're going to cut top rates, the individual rates, from 39.6 to 37%. Joining us right now is House Financial Services Committee member, Congressman Roger Williams of Texas. Good morning, Congressman. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Maria.
How are you expecting the Senate plan to differ from the House plan?
Well, I think you named it. I mean, I'm not so sure that I want to see a phase-in. I'm a small business owner, and I think if we're going to have tax reform and tax cuts, let's go ahead and do it. So we'll see what happens there. I do like the idea that we do away with the bubble tax. I think if you're going to have tax reform, everybody needs to have tax cuts and be able to benefit from it. So I like that idea. And the inheritance tax is another issue with me. We propose to do away with it in the House, as you know. The Senate may go another direction. But let's take a look at it. We need to get tax reform done, and Main Street America is waiting on it. The middle income folks are waiting on it. We need to get it done and get it done this year.
So what's the timeline? Once you get the Senate plan, for the most part, if there's not anything too onerous in there, would you be prepared to take that plan, vote on that plan, and move that through the process? Give us the timeline on that and what the next couple of weeks looks like.
Well, I think what you're going to see is, as you said, Ways and Means is marking our bill up today with the idea that we can get it out by Thanksgiving. And, of course, the President's put the emphasis on getting something done by the first of the year. So, you know, we'll take a look at the Senate. I'm wide open. Like I say, when you got the highest tax rates in the world, you need to get it fixed. But I want to see tax cuts. I want to see everybody be able to benefit to a certain degree with cuts and not be penalized and begin to create cash flow in this country.
Will you be forced to make some changes on the SALT deduction? Because we know that the Senate plan is probably going to completely eliminate the SALT deduction. But you've had pushback from your own party, right, Congressman? I mean, Peter King, Lee Zeldin, Darrell Issa, they don't want to agree to the elimination of that deduction of the state and local taxes. Would you be poised to put in some caps, maybe, you know, for those making, I don't know, $400,000, they can still deduct that or not? What do you think?
Well, I understand the argument that some of the higher tax states have. I get it. They're fighting for their constituents. But, you know, I don't know that I support caps. I mean, we either do or we either don't. And so people know the rules. We're supposed to be making it easier, not harder. Of course, this whole thing, Maria, could be done away with on these what do we do, what do we don't. If we just would understand economic growth is going to grow a lot with tax reform. And the other thing is we've got to get to where we're having massive cuts in the federal government. At the end of the day, the pay-fors are economic development and cuts in the federal government. I hope we get there at some point.
So you keep looking for pay-fors, right? So the SALT and local tax deduction would raise $1.3 trillion. Is there anything that's low-hanging fruit that would get you that kind of money to pay for this plan?
Well, the only low-hanging fruit in my mind would be $1.3 trillion in cuts in the federal government. We've got to do that sometime. And we begin to do that, we do away with the pay-fors and, frankly, make it easier.
Congressman, name one thing that could wind up in this tax bill that would cause you to vote no on it. One thing.
Well, I don't know that I would. I'm still undecided, Dagan, but, you know, one of the things I've been fighting for is interest deductibility for small businesses that finance their inventories. There was a moment there that we thought about taxing an expense. And that does not make any sense at all. It would reduce jobs. It would cut inventories, cut options for shoppers. So that would be something. That is something I'm fighting for, and I hope that we are able to get that taken care of. But I'm undecided, but I want to find a way to fix this because Main Street America needs it. Look what we've done just on the ability to say we're going to have tax cuts and tax reforms. What would happen with Main Street and the stock market if we actually do something? So that's where I am.
There's been some talk, Representative, about Kevin Brady, Ted Cruz wanting to include the individual mandate elimination. But does that, in your view, would that risk the entire package? That's one question. Then the other question I have for you, Congressman, is how real is the possibility, in your view, that this could end up temporary? The corporate tax cuts could end up temporary simply because they can't find the funding to comply with the Senate's Byrd rule?
Well, on the individual mandate, I certainly support getting rid of the individual mandate. I mean, that frees up the middle income and Main Street a lot.
Right.
I don't know necessarily that belongs in a tax bill.
Right.
I don't really want to throw something in there that might keep it from happening. So I think we need to get back to health care. We need to get back to doing away with Obamacare. That's where the individual mandate would fall, I think, best.
Do you look at this plan as more crucial than ever before, particularly after what we just saw on Election Day and how the Democrats really had a pretty good sweep? I mean, does that worry you going into the 2018 election?
Well, look, we all promised, myself included, when I first ran in 2012 for tax reform, the president ran on it. We need to deliver on that. As far as what happened in Virginia and New Jersey, I don't think that's something that is a trend. I mean, those are states that President Trump didn't win anyway. But aside from all that, we need to deliver. And tax reform is what we've all talked about, tax cuts, and we need to make sure we do that. And I'm one of those that wants to deliver. I want to give the right product to the American people, and I think we're on that course.
So you're going to do as much as you can to vote yes?
Look, I'm undecided, but I'm a positive guy. I want to find a way to vote yes. We can get it done.
Good to see you, sir. Thanks so much. We'll be watching the developments.
Thank you a lot.
Roger Williams there.